I scaled my content agency to over $200,000 a month in less than 3 years. That's why in this video, I'm gonna go through the 4 different pillars that took our content agency to over $200,000 a month that you can literally just copy and paste. I'm gonna give you the same lessons that I learned the hard way. These are lessons that I paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for, so let's get into it. So when I first started my agency, I was pretty much what we call a yes man. I would do long form videos, short form videos, posts, graphic design, emails, website, whatever the client want, I would say yes to because I didn't want to turn down the money. But what happened is over time, as I started saying yes to a lot more different people, I pretty much created a job for myself and I would manage multiple different clients. And what I realized that I needed to do is I needed to focus on, okay, what is my specialty? Who am I helping? And how can I actually help these customers get to an outcome? Because I was just saying yes to everything and it led me to being burnt out and literally on this hamster wheel that there was no chance of me actually scaling. And I see this problem a lot with agencies is they'll say yes to too many things. They won't productize their offer and their systems and they'll end up just being on this hamster wheel and never being able to get off of it, and pretty much a glorified freelancer to a bunch of different businesses, and you're pretty much just creating a job. It is not a scalable model whatsoever. So the first thing that we really need to hone in on is our offer. So when we think about our offer, there's a few things that we want to think about. The who, so who is it that we're targeting? Who is our customer? Because we're just a generalist. We're not going to be able to attract anybody. Then what is the pain points of these customers? Oftentimes, like what we landed on, people wanted to be more known. People wanted to be seen online. People wanted to scale trust. So that was the pain points that we had discovered when we were starting to think about our offer. Like, what does the market actually want? What is the market actually primed for that we could actually solve their problems? And then all we need to think about is the outcome, which is pretty much the opposite of the pain point. So if we can figure out the who, the pain, and the outcome, all we have to do as content agency owners is figure out what is the path that's going to get our clients from where they are to where they want to go. And that should become our offer. This doesn't mean we're going to do a million different things, create landing pages, all that sort of stuff. We need to think about what is the most modern way to do that? What is the most modern way to help these clients get to the outcome? And then also, what is the most scalable way to do it? What is the most efficient way to do it? Because if you're doing 100 different steps, that's going to be extremely operationally efficient and you're just going to burn yourself out as an agency owner. We want it to be simple. So knowing what we know, if I were wanting to become more known, if I were wanting to scale trust, if I were wanting to get more business from social media, what would we do? Short form content. That's where we've been able to really double down and realize the potential is that 80% of Americans are spending almost 6 hours a day on social media. Your clients are likely on social media and your clients are also likely on social media and they're seeing somebody. We want to make sure that it's our clients that they're seeing. So that's the problem that we just need to solve for. And short form content really is the mechanism, but that becomes really our offer. So if we think about this, all we need to do as agency owners is figure out what are these steps to getting my clients from where they are to where they want to go. How do I get them from here to here? And if we know in today's day and age as a marketer that it is short form content because that's where a lot of attention is right now. The other thing to note is like what we don't want to be is just positioned as video editors. We know the client's pain points. We know the client's outputs. We don't want to be known as like a freelancer. We want to be known as marketers who can get our clients to an outcome using a skill set that we have, which is content marketing. That means we're not going to be, oh, we're going to do 30 videos for you. No, we're going to be positioning ourselves as outcome givers. We're going to help you become more known. We're going to help you get more clients. We're going to help you become the most known in your niche. We're going to help you scale trust with your client and your target audience. Like that is the goal of the offer. And all we need to do is we need to productize this and turn this into a mechanism doing it. So onboarding, then strategy call. Like I always say, if you can't just sell strategy as a content agency, you really got to refine what you're doing. Then it's planning the content. Then it's actually shooting the content. Then it's editing the content. So when it comes to shooting, there's also a ton of different varieties of how you could do this. You could do a virtual shoot. If you're local, you could do like a local shoot for the client. A lot of different variations that can remove you as the bottleneck from doing this. Then maybe you're doing the posting for the client and then the analytics to look back on everything. And maybe you're doing like a basic IG funnel, something along those lines where you can like help them increase the likelihood of them getting views through paid ads, something along those lines. So this is how we began to productize our offer. And my problem was like, I was doing everything. I was doing the strategy call, planning the content, shooting content, and it wasn't even productized whatsoever. So I was bogging myself down. So how we want to look at this is we want to say, how do I productize this? How do I get as much of this off of my plate as possible early on? If you want to hit 6 figures in your agency, if you want to hit multiple 6 figures in your agency, we need to have our offer productized and scalable, repeatable, and able to delegate. So how I look at my offer is I think it's awesome that I'm doing all this, but who can I hire? Okay, onboarding, maybe I can find like a strategist to help out with this. They can also lead the strategy call, planning content, shooting content. And I think about how do I get this off of my plate so that I can begin to repeat this and delegate this. And when it comes to like our offer, what we want to do from like a pricing perspective is we need to basically figure figure out how many hours is this going to take for us to delegate? How much are we going to have to pay per hour or per task that we're going to have to do? And that's going to equal our cost of goods sold. Let's just say we're pricing this to delegate this completely. So what we want to do is we want to take pretty much all the tasks. We're going to eventually hire a strategist. We're going to hire somebody to shoot the videos, edit the content, post, like run this funnel and set up the analytics. What I just need to do is I need to figure out how much time is each task going to take for our offer. And then we just need to separate it by each role that we've defined and then multiply that by how much we're going to pay each role. And that's going to give us our cost of goods sold. Then what we can do is we can multiply that by 3 and that's going to give us our price. And one thing to note with this as an agency is our job is to be as efficient as possible. Like if I look at this offer, what's going to be the biggest bottleneck for you guys is going to be editing the content. This is where you're going to be spending the most amount of time. And I can almost guarantee it. If you're a content agency, a lot of your time is going to editing the content. So us as agencies, if we're thinking about how do I productize my offer? How do I systemize my offer? I need to be thinking about how can I support the team and give them tools in order to succeed so that they can be more efficient. If they're more efficient, what does that mean for you as an agency owner? That means you are more profitable. So from an editing perspective, for an example, I'm going to do, let's just call it 12 videos a month, and I'm going to hire an editor to do that for me. That's going to be over 24 hours a month, probably plus, just to edit the videos. So what we need to realize is, cool, that's a lot of expenses for our agency. I'm going to have to hire a lot of editors in order to keep up if I actually do want to scale. Is there a better way to do this? When I'm working on my offer, I'm thinking about how do I begin to look at this from a system perspective? And if you're still doing it manually, there are better ways out there. For example, like Submagic. So if I use Submagic, I don't have to do manual captions. I can literally just upload a video. The captions will do it for me. I can use AI to remove silences for my video. So that will speed up the process of actually trimming it down. And I can just literally export it from here. And it takes me on average about 5 minutes per video in order to actually get a short form video edited. So if we do 5 minutes for 12 videos, that's significantly less time than 2 hours per video. If we can productize this, if we're not just positioning our agency as, oh, we're going to deliver the coolest edit, but more so we're going to help them get to an outcome, and video is the mechanism to do that. That is how we set ourselves up for success. So all we need to do is we just need, from a foundation perspective, is just go with the mindset, cool, I'm going to hire editors to help me using Submagic. So once we have our offer dialed in, we want to make sure that it's addressing pain points, it's getting our clients to an outcome, we have a specific niche, and it's productized, and we're looking at this from the perspective of how do I be most efficient, because we're charging based off of time, hopefully, and the more time that we save within our offer, the more money that we're able to make and be actually profitable in our agency. That is how we're going to win. So this is foundationally the most important thing of our business. So once we dial in our offer, the next thing that we need to simply do is market the offer. So I'm going to go through a few different ways that you can use to create some predictability inside of your marketing so that you can then turn something on and get an outcome. That's the idea. That's the goal. The first real way of marketing is going to be outbound. So from an outbound perspective, what we use is we use a tool called Instantly. And with Instantly, what we can do is we can send thousands of emails every single day. So what we do is we buy the emails plus domains, because we don't want to just like do a bunch of manual outreach and do cold DMs or do a bunch of like manual emails from our email address, because that's just a time suck. What we want to do, again, going back to what I just mentioned, is we want it to be scalable, repeatable, and delegatable, just like our offer. It's the same thing with our marketing. And with this is completely automated. So I'd buy emails and domains so that I can actually send from. So I'd have 15 emails that I'm sending from inside of Instantly. It's super easy to do. I'll get a list of the leads, and how I would find those lists is basically 3 different ways. I would either use software. So there's a lot of different softwares out there that can scrape for you. I would, depending on where I'm getting the types of clients, I would also have a VA build a list. Let's just say I'm working with real estate agents in San Diego. What I can do is I can simply go to a Zillow and I can be like, hey, Mr. BA, can you pull all of these clients and give me their emails, and then put that into a list. That's how I would do it. And then the third way would be to buy a list. So there's lots of list brokers out there that you can literally just buy a list of verified emails, and it will significantly speed up the time. It should be already verified, and you can start using that as your ammunition to get in front of people. So for example, if I just go to buy a list of leads, dentists, let's just say dentist is my niche. Dentist contact sales lead lists, dental leads with 97% accuracy. So many examples. And after I get the lists, all I need to do is write copy. For example, my first name, then we could throw in like a personalized line, a compliment maybe. Then we could say something like, we help niches achieve desired outcome and time frame using our unique mechanism, and thought you could be a perfect fit. We just helped case study achieve XYZ without old way. Could I shoot you over more info on how it all works. Cheers. So now, once I launch this and I set up some follow-up sequences, and then typical math is if I send 10,000 emails per month, get a 2% reply rate, should expect about 200 replies. If I can book just 10% of these, that'd be 20 book calls, which would equal about 5 deals per month if your close rate is around 25%. And if your offer is around, let's just call it $3K a month, then that would be $15,000 a month in added revenue for you. The next form of marketing that is really strong is simply paid ads. How we do paid ads is really simple. Okay. One, like if we're looking at our offer and we have like a basic IG funnel, cool. How do we do that for ourselves? So what we're seeing work really well is like a simple DM ad. So what we want to do is basically just have a call to action of direct message, because what we want to do is we want to increase the likelihood of them actually responding and us to engage in a conversation. I mean, the way things are going these day and age is like the landing page is a lot harder to convert. It's harder to get like a lead form and then actually follow up and get them to book a call. Why don't we just send them to our DMs so we can actually have a conversation with them in the DMs and set an appointment from the DMs? That's the theory behind this. So in this case, like from a copywriting perspective, all we want to do is just say, real estate agents, we will help you become the most known agent in your area in 90 days using our social reel funnel. DM me content to learn more. Something along those lines. I've been liking the tweet formats. Those seem to be working super well. Another like simple format that seems to work really well is if you're a niche wanting to desired outcome, but you're struggling with pain point 1, pain point 2, pain point 3. Guys, you can literally copy and paste this exact ad, causing you to implication, DM me keyword, desired outcomes using our unique mechanism in time frames. It's the same thing we did for case study. Just DM me keyword and I'll send you more info. This has been extremely freaking killer from a client acquisition perspective and from a marketing perspective. So that is the mechanism from a paid ad perspective. And the last one would simply be content creation. Okay. First things first, guys, if you're a content agency and you're not creating content for yourself, that's not a good thing. Okay. We want to basically take our offer and we want to become a client of it. So from a content creation perspective, what we want to do is we want to really like humanize our brand and scale trust through content. Okay. People work with who they know, who they like, who they trust. The businesses that you're doing outbound for, the businesses that are seeing your ads, what are they likely going to do? They're going to check out your content. They're going to check out your Instagram. They're going to check out your page. We want to make sure our content is scaling trust with our clients. And it's not just this transactional relationship, because people work with who they know, who they like, and who they trust, and they're going to do research. So what we did a ton is we're posting every single day. Power of brand content. So that way, when people are seeing my stuff, they go on my Instagram and they check out my social media and they see my content and they think, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy's like actually sharing knowledge. The secret to better videos, how to close deals on Instagram, client interviews, hard truth about social media. The more that we can like use content to increase the likelihood of our clients converting from the outbound to the paid ads, you will have a winning strategy. We need to educate our client. We need to speak to our clients in our content, because we just need to think about their journey. Okay, they're going to go to the page. They're going to see, do I trust this person? And then that's where they're going to make their decision to even book a call with you. And if we look at our offer, all we need to do is think about the who, pain, and the outcome. And that's the content that we're going to actually create. So if you're working with dentists who struggle with getting leads from social media and becoming more known, okay, that's what we need to create content around. Because what they're going to do from outbound and paid ads is they're going to go to content. We can't just rely on content creation to grow our business necessarily, because that's where the feast and famine cycles come, and it's just not a predictable way to do that. We need to have content to enhance the likelihood of the outbound and the ads actually working. So once we dial in our offer, once we dial in our marketing, what we need to look at is our systems. Okay. One of the best quotes that I've heard is systems run the business and people run the systems. When I was first starting my agency, I had no systems in place. I was working off of Google Docs. I was working off of notes. I would email people. I'd text my editors, hey, what's the status of this? And what's the status of that? And it was a complete mess. Problem is that it felt chaotic. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh, did we do this video? I'd wake up in the middle of the night, like, oh, did we get this done? And it was not a scalable method because I was always the bottleneck. There was no infrastructure for us to actually scale from. So when we look at systems, we need to look at our offer and we just need to think, okay, what are the systems that I need to create for each pillar of my offer in order to systematize this, in order to hold my editors accountable, in order to hold the person that's posting accountable? Because systems run the business, people run the systems. So if we can create the infrastructure to scale through really good systems in the step-by-step process, which is what we have right here, then we'll be able to scale from there. So when it comes to systems, there's like so many different systems that you could do, like the onboarding system, the fulfillment system, the sales system, the marketing system, like I just showed you. Like there's so many different systems that we need to build. But what I really want to hone in right here is like what we talked about when we were talking about our offer, the editing, because that's the most time consuming task when it comes to you doing your fulfillment. Okay. It's always going to be the editing. The editing is always going to be the most billable hours. It's going to be the most time consuming. And honestly, it's the most important because that's what gets posted to the clients and that's what's marketing your business essentially. And we want to make sure this is super freaking dialed. So what we do is we use a tool like Notion. Basically, anytime we get a client and a project, we will create a database inside of Notion essentially. And anytime we have a video that we are planning, we will open this up. And what we will say is we'll say, cool, this is short form video number 3 for XYZ client. And what we can do is we can then put it in a specific status. So let's just say this is ready to edit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically say, we are talking about XYZ, make it cool, use Hormozy style captions. Okay. The old way of when we move this to ready to edit is, cool, I'm going to export this. I'm going to add it to like Premiere. I'm going to like color grade it, add the captions, manually do this, export this, drag it to the folder, et cetera, et cetera. It can be a time suck. The beautiful thing is we are in 2024 and AI is taking over. And there are tools out there that can help you be super efficient with your editing, which is going to be the most time consuming part, in order to actually be able to scale without burning yourself, be able to scale without overspending and not being actually profitable in your agency. And this is the way that I would suggest doing it. So what we can do is we can say, here's the raw footage in a Google Drive. Let's call it. Let's just say we shoot it. We upload the Google Drive here. Then what we can do is we can then assign this to an editor. So let's just say editor is going to be me. And we want to edit this on the 19th and we want this due on the 19th as well. So now what the editor will see is they'll see, cool, this is a task that's for me, that's ready to edit. Now, instead of this taking 3 hours for an editor, can now be done extremely quick. So if I am an editor, if I'm training my editors on how to use the system, I'm assigning them videos in a tool like Notion. And what I'm training them to do is I'm training them to go to Submagic and upload the video. So basically if I go home, I can create a folder per client. So let's just say we have Austin videos, for example. I create a folder for each client and then we can create their theme essentially inside of Submagic so that it's productized. We want to have a system for this. And then what we're able to do is we're able to quickly add the captions for each client so that it is efficient. And then all we have to do in our basically editing fulfillment is upload the video, add the captions, trim it. We can use AI to trim it. We can edit it, automatically add the captions. We can add B-roll manually if we wanted to. Like we can apply this if we wanted to. Sweet. We can add sound design. Like the captions are mad accurate. And all we can do is we can click on share and we can email it to like the client. We can email it to the person that's managing the board, or we can quickly export this in 4K. And then what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to upload it into the content. So now what took 2 hours is now taking less than 30 minutes, 2 minutes, depending on the size of the video and whatnot. But this is how we can use systems to our advantage to be more efficient. This fulfillment system is going to be Notion plus AI. That is how we can really be efficient with our agency so that we can then handle more clients, be more profitable, and not have to just hire a full team every single time we get a client. We can use AI. This is only getting better and better to be efficient, and use a tool like Notion, create a table so that we can track all of the videos that are getting done. And the last thing, just like with systems, is all we have to do is reverse our offer into steps and create systems for a team to manage. Okay. If you're a growing agency, like what we want to make sure one is our offer is super dialed in. And what I'm looking at is the offer is like, how do I create an onboarding system? How to create a strategy call system? How to create a planning the content system? And that's pretty much what we're doing as CEOs. It's chief expectation officer. If we can create systems for every single step of the process to get our clients to the outcome, all we need to do is the next thing, which is plug in people to run the systems for us. And that is really the next step. And the final thing that I want to hit on that really helped us scale was building a team and hiring. Again, what did I just say about systems? Systems run the business, people run the systems. So what we need to do is we need to have systems in place that we can plug people into hire. So if I'm going up to my offer, I need to figure out who do I need to hire eventually to do onboarding, to do strategy, to planning, to shooting the content, to editing the content, to posting, to funnel, to analytics, whatever it could be. That's where I'm looking at the frame of my offer from. So what we need to think about is maybe this is the same role, this is the same role, this is the same role, this is a role, and then let's just say this is a role, this is a role, this is the same role, and this is the same role. So really there's 2 people that you need to hire in order to fully remove yourself from the agency essentially. And your job is to create the systems in order that you plug somebody in to follow, and then ultimately make sure they're being held accountable to it and they're actually set up for success. The problem that I see with a lot of agencies is like they're so afraid to delegate, but the root of it is they don't have the systems in place in order to actually delegate and set somebody up for success. Again, I see a CEO as chief expectation officer. If we can be constantly setting expectations and giving tools to the people that we're hiring in order to actually succeed, that is where we are going to win. So question becomes, how do I find this? How do I get people to actually work at my agency and do this? Okay, so what we do is we run what's called a talent acquisition funnel. So we need to make sure we have all the 3 steps that I just listed out above super dialed in. But basically what we need is we need a job description. When I say job description, it's not just like, oh, you're responsible for editing a video and posting a video for our clients. Like, no, we need 3 things. We need roles, responsibilities, and smart expectations. Okay. So roles, maybe one of the roles is editing a video. Okay. What are the responsibilities of editing the videos? And then what are the expectations of how many videos that they should be editing every single month? Okay. Maybe a role within the video editor is project management. Okay. What's the responsibilities? Keeping Notion up to date, keeping Submagic up to date. What are the smart expectations with that? Make sure it's up to date every single day at the end of the day, that everything is cleaned up and ready to rock. That is what we're doing, because this allows you to create expectations with the team so that when you actually hire them, they know what success is. Then what we'll basically do from there is we will create what's called like an intake form. So intake form basically is like a pre-qualified form for candidates. Basically, when we post the job, we're going to drive traffic to the intake form. And the intake form is going to ask, how long have you been doing video edits? Are you familiar with Submagic? Are you familiar with this? Are you familiar with that? Whatever it could be, whatever your expectations are, we're driving traffic to the intake form for them to actually fill out the form. How much is it going to cost? What is your rate? Tell me more about your experience. What's something that you're proud of? Then what we're going to do is we're going to post the job. So basically we want to post the job everywhere. And what we're doing when we post the job is we're driving traffic to the intake form, because we want to get as many people to fill out the intake form as possible. And when I think about posting the job, like a lot of people are like, oh, where do I post it? The answer is everywhere. I look at talent acquisition just like I look at client acquisition. We need to be marketing this job because we want to find the perfect fit. And if we have the roles, responsibilities, expectations, who we're looking for from a candidate perspective, we want to get this in front of as many people as possible in order to get as many people to fill out the form so that we can get as many people to apply and find the best candidate from there. Okay. Then after we post the job, what we will do is we'll go through the intake forms and we'll have them send us like a Loom video. Then after the Loom video, we'll do an interview. And if they pass the interview, of course, then we will do what's called a 30-day trial to make sure that they are in fact fit after 30 days with really clear expectations that, well, if you pass this 30-day trial, then this could turn into something more consistent for you. So that is basically the talent acquisition funnel that will allow you to find A-player talent with expectations that they can follow. Okay. What we don't want to do is we want to be like, oh my gosh, I need an editor like right now. Yeah, can you just edit videos? No. If we're productizing our offer, if we're productizing our business, if we're productizing our editing, we should know how long does it take to do edits. Okay. Let's just call it 20 minutes per video. How many edits could they end up doing if they were a full-time position, or based off of the hours that you have allotted for them, what is their expectations of daily output? Those are the types of things that we really need to know. And your job as a CEO is to give them tools in order to succeed, to be efficient like Submagic, to set them up for success and give them tools and systems in order to make their life easier. That should be your end goal when it comes to running and scaling your agency to that 6-figure per month mark. Once I was able to hire a team, like I would review content and that'd pretty much be just of my job. I mean, if you can get out of the fulfillment, you can finally have more time to enjoy time freedom and build the business that you probably are wanting to build, which is a business that can allow you to have more time freedom, allow you to do more things that you enjoy. That is the end goal of a business in my eyes. All right, guys. So that is the 4-step process that we followed to scale to over $200,000 a month in just a couple of years. And if you want the same system that we use to be super efficient, to be able to handle a lot more clients without bottlenecking us with the editing, and the same system that I just showed you inside of this video, just go ahead and click the link down in the description. And it's another thing, which I even talked about, to make sure you have the right strategy to be able to go viral for your clients, to create client strategy that's actually going to get them to become more known. So if you want to know the system that you can predictably use for your business to offer to your clients to go viral repeatably, go ahead and click this video right here to learn more how to do that. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.